take the regulator off and pretend we've got a new tank. So, I've got a new tank. I'm going to look and inspect it for dings and cracks. I'm going to look for an expiration date. It's okay. I'm going to, and usually you don't, this one you need to keep, but the new ones you don't.
That's what I was about to ask.
Yeah, just say I'm going to crack this open. This is an old-fashioned one, and you need one of these. So say I'm going to open it, close it up. That's locked. Just to get the dust out of it. The new ones have a thing where you can crack it. I'm going to crack it, blow the dust out. Okay, got a good tank. Now I've got my regulator. I'm going to make sure it has an O-ring. You're always going to look for that. I'm going to make sure it has an O-ring. It does. I'm going to line this up. Turn it on. Make sure the prongs are aligned, which I didn't do very well. There we go. I'm going to tighten it up. Now, I'm going to open that up again. This should go up to 2,000 psi, or approximately. And they'll ask you, what should a full tank be at? 2,000 psi, give or take. Okay, that's good. Now, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to open this up, a couple liters, make sure that everything's coming out. I'm going to check it, air's coming out. I'm going to listen for any leaks, make sure it's not leaking around here. Turn it off again. Turn this back off here, and then bleed the remaining off. Because whatever left between here and here, you want to bleed it off. Now I've got a full tank, it's turned off, completely ready to go. Now we'll give you your scenario. You'll use all the stuff here. The scenario I usually use is a kid who got stung by a bee who's in no respiratory distress, talking long sentences, respiratory rate 14 a minute, lungs are clear, family history of anaphylaxis, he wants to go to the hospital. Okay, good. I'm going to make him feel a little better. I'm going to put a nasal cannula on. Show me what you're going to do. So you put a cannula on this dude. And make sure you know how to put the cannula on correctly. Put the prongs going the right way. Alright. Now you can either do it the front way or the back way. I don't care. Okay, so I've got this patient here. He's on 2 to 6 liters by cannula. I don't care what you have, Matt, because this is more placebo effect than anything. He doesn't need it. Okay, patient on cannula, he says, oh yeah, boy, that feels a little better. I'm glad you give me oxygen. I'm glad you're going to the emergency room because I'm really worried about this. So you're talking to the guy, you're about 8 minutes out from the ER. All of a sudden you notice he's got a little bit of expiratory wheezing. He's got a little bit of urticaria. You notice his respiratory rate is up to about 20, 22 from 14. He says, God, it feels like my chest is getting a little tight. It feels like my throat's kind of closing in. Say, okay, so now we're showing signs of a little respiratory distress, correct? So we want to get him off this thing. Say, okay, sir, I'm going to put you on a little more oxygen. We're going to help you breathe a little bit better. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to get my rebreather mask. I'm going to hook it up to the tank. And the cannula, by the way, you would have need to hook up and put on whatever. So I'm going to put this 15 liters. Fill up the bag. And put this guy.
So make sure the bag is filled.
Yes, we'll make sure the bag is filled.
How would we show that?
Just by...
Oh, okay.
I'm going to fill up the bag.
Just voice it.
Yeah, voice it. Okay, so I'm going to put this guy on this. Tighten up a little bit. All right. So that should help you feel a little bit better. Does that help you? Yeah, I feel a lot better, but it feels like my throat's still closing up. I don't know. This is helping a little bit. But man, my tongue feels like it's getting big. My throat feels like it. I love the bee sting scenario because it encompasses everything. You got that wussy kid, you put a cannula on him right off the bat, says boot him out your rig.
I like my favorite is inhalation.
Inhalation's a good one. I don't mind doing the inhalation. So, say, hey, I'm still kind of feeling bad. You notice his urticaria is getting worse. His expiratory wheezing has also gotten worse. And now you notice a little inspiratory wheezing. Think, okay, this is getting worse. We're still about 5 minutes out from the ER. Sir, we're heading there. We're going to be quick. He says, you got to get me there quick. I can't catch my breath. And all of a sudden, he goes apneic on you. All right, no big deal. So, what we do, and this is an area where people screw up a lot, is this area right here. So I'm going to...
Turning that off every time we switch it, or leaving it on?
Nah, it doesn't matter to me. I leave it on. So I'm going to hook this up. Now, if you want to give him 2 breaths of room air right off the bat, I don't mind.
You know how most of them are like hotel players, right? This one was, I walked in the board.
Okay, so on high flow 2, I'm going to get behind this gentleman. Bring the head back. Good CE grip. And I'm going to do rescue breathing. Now, I do this for about 30 seconds to make sure he's oxygenated pretty well, because I'm not sure how well he was oxygenating himself at the end when he was on the non-rebreather mask. Do this for about 30 seconds, and now I'm going to say, gosh, I really want to make sure that this guy's got a decent airway, so I'm going to put the OPA in. Alright, go back to doing this, and the instructor will probably say, gosh, he's getting a little bit of stomach distension. What can we do about that? What can we do?
Slow down.
Slow down a little bit, or what else can we do?
Reassess the,
Okay, so I'm going to bring head back. I'm going to make sure my seal is okay. Seems okay. I got a partner. Can I have anybody do this? Crickway pressure. Okay, the crickway pressure. So now I've got this guy doing this, and invariably he will vomit. So if this patient vomits, what do we do right off the bat? Get this out.
Suction.
Get this out. I'm going to get my suction. I'm going to make sure it's turned on. I'm going to make sure it's working. I'm going to turn this patient onto his side. There's no trauma, so we can turn the head or we can roll it either way. I'm going to cover this. Go to the base of the tongue, suction for no longer than 17. Put it in first, now you do it.
How many seconds was that?
15 seconds. Now, people fail this part because they get so involved in the suctioning that they go, okay, 10, 15 seconds, I'm going to go back in again. I still see some stuff. All right, suction this guy out. Oh, there's a little bit more. And what's not happening this whole time I'm suctioning this guy out? Exactly. 30 seconds, we cannot go any farther. So I've suctioned him out fairly well. Now I'm going to do the same thing again. And then I'm going to say, oh gosh, okay, I want to get an airway in on this guy. So, see, all right, I'm going to lube this baby up. Bevel toward the septum.
What can you use for lube if you don't have lube?
Spit.
There's spit. There's spit.
All right, there you go. Let's start bagging them again. Contraindications for using a nasal airway are what? Trauma, facial trauma, and babies, exactly. And then you're just going to bag this guy and the rest of the way to the ER. This is easy. And actually it's a little easier on a human. This one, the seal isn't good on this. With one of the other dummies it works a little bit better. We're not going to worry if you're getting a little leakage on the seal here on these dummies. We're not going to worry about that as long as your technique is good.
Unless it's really bad.
Unless it's horrible. I mean, if you're going like this, if you're, that's not okay. If you've got it done correctly, your technique is good, and there's a little bit of leakage, it's worrisome on a human being, a real person. On these dummies, we understand the head's a little small, so as long as your technique is good.
Will the instructor tell us when, you're done? Or do we have to, say, oh, we're going to transport
Now,
him?
instructor will say, okay, good, you've arrived at the ER. Perfect.
Okay.
And then they'll probably also say at the station, show how you would ventilate a trauma patient with a pocket mask. So how are you going to ventilate a trauma patient? What's the main thing?
You can probably do a jaw thrust.
Exactly. So, head tilt, I do the jaw thrust. They just want to make sure you know how to do a jaw thrust on a trauma patient.
That mask doesn't fit that guy, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
It partially. It fits it enough where we know what you're doing. What was that now? On the trauma, how you're going to ventilate a trauma patient, just you make sure you don't do the head tilt. You've got a patient like this, you want to hold the pocket mask on, you want to do the jaw thrust. just show that you know how to do a job thrust.
So we're using that to
Mhm.
Okay.
And if these don't go in all the way, we understand that because rubber on rubber doesn't work real well, and we may have, where's Joe? Joe got some really cool lubricant last year that didn't gum up the dummies. He may be able to bring some of this.
KY or what?
No, it's the spray stuff. It was really good. So that's what this station entails.
Okay.
You could, but then ends up